We're back once again chatting about The Mandalorian, this time Chapter 15, The Believer. Hey everyone, my name is Captain Jack and welcome to Star Wars Now. This week, of course, we're talking about the latest episode of The Mandalorian. We're now one episode away from the final. Actually, next week is the final of The Mandalorian. Chapter 16 is going to be our final episode. It's going to set up Season 3, which is due to air in Christmas 2021, as revealed yesterday at the Disney's investor call. Stick with us all weekend, we've got plenty of news to cover about that call and what it means for the fate of the Star Wars franchise. So that's going to be pretty interesting. If you are new around here, make sure to hit that subscribe button so never miss a video from myself and the team here at Star Wars Now. We've got a ton of stuff to talk about over the next couple of years, might I add, so it's going to be a fun couple of times. I look forward to sharing news with you, but in the meantime, let's talk The Mandalorian. Now, from last week's episode, we kind of knew how this episode was going to go down. We predicted it might be a sort of prison break in a way, where, the Mandalorian and Cara Dune, Boba Fett, and Fennec Shand would have to go and rescue Mayfeld and break him out of prison in order to somehow get access to Moff Gideon's light cruiser. Well, it actually took a little bit of a different turn, shall I say. Instead, they actually just went and picked him up on this Imperial scrap world, which was kind of interesting to see, because this scrap world, which is the Carthon chop fields, was actually just an old scrap world of basically all the TIE fighters and all the Imperial stuff, basically decaying away the old age of the Imperial stuff, making sure it's all chucked away and nobody wants to, go near it. Breaking Mayfield out would eventually lead them to his planet where the Imperials are refining stuff on Morak, which shows that Imperial, they're still in operations, which is kind of interesting in a way. I wonder if they're under the command of Moff Gideon or under another Imperial remnant. It's not really made clear here, but it appears that this Imperial installation is at least operational. It's refining Rydonium. That's an ore or material that's been explored many times in the Star Wars universe. Famously in the Star Wars, the Clone Wars episode, where Rydonium was used by a separatist to load it onto a Venator to try and destroy a Republic military outpost. Luckily, R2-D2 saved the day, and it was all saved. Commander Gregor almost died to Rydonium as well. It's kind of interesting. This ore has been explored many times, so yeah, apparently it's a fuel source and also something used to burn away the worlds. This episode really explored the effects of what the Empire has on a person. We see through the character of Mayfield, who originally we presume is a bit of an arse, he still kind of is in a way, that, the Empire are left behind. He wasn't really connected with the Empire anymore. He is ex-Imperial, but we see here that it's left scars. When the ISB officer is describing, Operation Cinder and how it burnt away worlds and they lost 10,000 troops, you can really see that's enough to leave scars on something. And Mayfeld perhaps is suffering from a form of PTSD in a way, because that's how it seems. You see him shaking when the situation is being described there. And you can imagine, this maybe 10 years ago now. Well, actually, if we're in 9 ABY, it would be about 5-6 years ago for Operation Cinder, I think. It was just after the fall of it, so yeah. It'd be 6 years ago, roughly, I think, to where the Operation Cinder took place, which is something rather interesting. I have to talk about the end of this episode, because you guys know I love Moff Gideon. I think he's a great character. Giancarlo Esposito does a fantastic job in portraying him. The end of this episode kind of included Din Djarin's ultimatum towards him, where we get a passing shot at Gideon's light cruiser, which is an Arcton's command cruiser in this case. And basically, the comms officer, who's doing a fantastic job, informs Gideon they've received a transmission. Up pops the Mandalorian in his mask on Gideon's command table, who repeats the language used by Gideon during the skirmish on Navarro back to Gideon's way. Very interesting and good writing on how they did that in a way. He basically says, "You have something I want. You do not understand the power of what you have. Soon he will be mine again." Very interesting. So yeah, so Gideon's expression didn't seem phased, but you can kind of see him go, uh-oh, as that's kind of concerning. If a Mandalorian hailed my ship and threatened to come after me, I would be a little bit concerned as well. How the next episode is going to play out, not entirely sure. I do expect we'll see Ahsoka Tano again, as next episode will likely also spin off her just announced new Star Wars Ahsoka series. That's going to be pretty interesting to see, so I can't wait for that. Now, Boba Fett had a good role to play in this episode. He did it did do massive amounts, however, he did fly the Slave One around. He's not back to his badass kicking duties again just yet, however, he's doing something. The Slave One did drop a seismic charge, destroying 2 TIE fighters, which Dune and Shand basically watched from below. I get they were kind of impressed at what Fett just did there, as it was really impressive. Seeing him in his cleaned up armor, very nice as well. I'll stick some images on screen right now. Boba Fett is looking fantastic. How they didn't announce a show of him yesterday, I have no idea. Hopefully he's going to continue on in The Mandalorian, maybe in Season 3 as well. It could be really interesting. We have to see how Chapter 16 actually plays out, as that is really going to set the stage for a lot of the future of the Star Wars universe, I feel. Seeing a Mandalorian without his helmet, another interesting element of this episode. I'm not a particular fan of it. I do prefer his helmet on, though Pedro Pascal does actually look fantastic, so one can't complain. However, it is kind of weird seeing him without the helmet, and we do get the whole conversation between Mayfield and the Mandalorian about what's going on with the whole helmet thing there and what's going on. One thing I need to hammer home as well, we can clearly see the Empire is still in business, still in operation. Yet again, the Empire have rocked up to this world where, just random people are living, the inhabitants, the natural people, and they are invading it, stealing their resources, and doing a ton of stuff. The locals are attacking them, the civilians are attacking the Empire, they mistake the Mandalorian and Mayfeld for the Empire, who are obviously disguised as stormtroopers. Not very fun seeing a Mandalorian in a stormtrooper's outfit, but hey, you gotta do what you gotta do. I will say, it's pretty cool seeing Fennec Shand and also Cara Dune. Those two work really well together, and I do wonder whether the newly announced series Rangers of the New Republic will maybe take those two into account and cast them as the main characters. We've heard for quite a while now that Gina Carano is going to be having her own series alongside Bo-Katan. However, now I feel like this may take into account Ming-Na Wen instead, as that could be very interesting. I'd actually pay to see that, to be honest. It could be very interesting, and I cannot wait to see something like that. It would be kind of very fun. Now, I say Richard Brake, who played the Imperial Vane Hess in the second season of Mandalorian, fantastic there. He was a very convincing and very manipulated and weird Imperial officer, I'd say. Really cool to see that and have the RSB sort of still running around. Honestly, very exciting. This episode overall, I'd say it's not the strongest episode, but it does the job. Again, this is sort of filler done well, I described. We kind of expect this to be a boring Prison Break episode in my mind. However, this is filler once again done well. It's just a hop, skip, and a jump over to a final episode, which I think is going to be an hour long, and it's going to be very, very explosive for the sake of getting Grogu back. I have a feeling this might be the only Mandalorian episode where Grogu or the child has not actually appeared in, which could be rather interesting. We're not counting flashbacks, so I don't know, that could be an interesting option. It might actually be. That's something, that's really something to take into account. And interesting, this episode was called The Believer, or chapter should I say, and I don't really know what that refers to. Whether it refers to Mayfeld, or Din, I don't know. Who is The Believer, really? I mean, if you guys in the chat do know, for me, it kind of it's confused me, because I don't exactly know what it refers to, which is got me, I don't know, who is the believer in this case? Because obviously, the previous titles refer to something is going on. The tragedy was a stealing of, Grogu. Yeah, this is very... it's very interesting. It really is interesting. There's a lot to think about this episode per usual. I say that every week, but really is, The Mandalorian is giving us a lot to talk about. It is a lot to talk about. Anyway, everyone, I'm going to end up here, as this is my weekly review of The Mandalorian here on Star Wars Now. Make sure to stay subscribed to keep up to date with the latest Star Wars news. We've got plenty coming to you very soon. If you did enjoy this video, make sure to hit that like button. I'll be back very soon with a breakdown of this episode and what's coming up next week on The Mandalorian. For now, I've been Captain Jack here on Star Wars Now. Thanks for watching. May the Force be with you, and we'll see you next time.